Don't have to. But let me ask you right now to close your eyes and think about all the people in your life that you love. I mean love, not like, not hate, love. You too, Zoomers. Okay, we could be here all night, so limit it now to 3. Your closest. Are you clear about your loving relationship with whatever person you chose? I mean, if I say husband, if I say brother, sister, that's usually either good or bad, right? But if I say the divorce rate is over 50% in this country, obviously we must have had some limits on that relationship or two, right? So, anyone want to speak about love? How do you love someone else to the best of your capacity? And you don't have to tell us personal information, but what is this love thing about to you? Is it a thought? Is it a feeling? Hi, Jennifer. How are you? What do you think? Both? Any brave soul here? Well, you're 14 years old. You have your first crush. Ah, where is it? In the head, in the heart, tingles. What happens? You grow up, you meet someone, you divorce, you don't divorce. So whatever it is, it really does dictate our relationships, our closest relationships. So the theme tonight, the actual, what? With limitless love is what we're going to be talking about. And we have with us Sister Anjani, who is the director of Harmony House right here. And she's going to be talking about her personal experiences and in general, the Brahmin way to look at limitless love, which of course you may have assumed by now has a lot to do with God and limitless. So before I let her take over, I would like you to think for a second of your relationship with God, if you have one. And you're here, so I'm guessing most of you do. So how many of you think of God as your friend? Lover? How do you talk to him or her or it? You ask him for things? All right, we have some people here who've taken the course. Some are sisters, some are brothers, but I'm going to now introduce Sister Anjani to you. So by the end of the hour, we'll have a very good idea of her relationship and the idea of loving as a Brahmin. So without further ado, there you are, Sister Anjani. How many of you have met Sister Anjani before here? No stranger? Anyone here for the first time? Welcome. Okay, we'll talk to you later if you would like to be on our email list. Okay, Sister Anjani, it's all yours.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti, and good evening to all of you. And lovely to see each one of you, and welcome. Welcome to all, a double welcome to you. And my brother, it's lovely to see you. And the family on Zoom every Thursday night, so committed to joining us on Zoom. But the doors are getting open and wider and wider. Last month, I think we had one session in person. This month, we're having 2 sessions in person. And I think by the month of September, we might be having all the sessions in person. Right, Sister Tina? So that's the plan. And so get familiar with knowing that the doors are going to be opening fully. Because sometimes to remember that, oh, is it in person or is it on Zoom? It takes time. So we're here in person. And so today we're exploring God's love, this limitless love. I think it's a quality that every creature, every human being, everyone relates to. You look at your pets, what they respond to. They respond to your love, and you respond to their love. It's very natural. You see the relationship of those who are walking their dogs. You just see how lovingly they care for the dogs, or those who play with the cats or the birds. One of my aunts, she has so many birds. And wherever she travels upstate and back, all the birds go with her in the cage. And I said, these birds are having more vacation than people. And that's her love, to have about 6, 8, I don't know how many birds, 2 cages there, and the way they're fed and taken care of. And so there is so much love in everyone's heart. Everyone has this quality of love. But I feel what is happening, that love has changed from a pure love to an emotional love. And so I look at myself, going back in time when I was this little girl who thought I had all the love in the world. I felt I was so much loved by my family, my friends, those I'm around with. I felt I had loved. I didn't feel that I needed love. And so I wasn't seeking love. I never think that I needed to have somebody love me. I felt it was always there. And when it comes to God, I worshipped him in different ways, whether I went to him in a form of a plant. There was a specific plant that they used to worship. They called it the Tulsi plant. So they will offer water to the Tulsi plant, or you go and offer water to a stone and you say your prayers, and you go to the images and you worship them, and you think of the many things, even the sun. And I look back and I saw, well, I did all that, and I felt that I loved God. Didn't know who I was worshiping. Of course, worshiping a stone is not going to really give me love. Worshiping a plant is not going to give me love. Worshiping the images, the pictures, is not what gave me love. But deep in the soul, there was a relationship with God that I didn't realize, I didn't connect with, I didn't felt in that way, but there was that feeling inside that I love God. I didn't know who he was and is. So I just continued to do my prayers. Until one day, my cousin was visiting, and she used to share about what she's studying here at the Brahma Kumaris. And of course, I didn't have interest. I thought, well, she's trying to change me from my religion. And I said, I'm not going there, not ready to change my religion. But it was not until maybe 2 years later that she came to visit again, and she says, are you going to join me for the early hours of the morning meditation? I said, that's my sleep time. Don't disturb me. But the next morning, I went and I sat with her and my grandmother. And the experience of that moment, of that time, and I have no clue how to meditate. I wasn't thinking about anything. I just joined them and I was sitting, and the experience of it had to be God, because it's not a human. There was an experience of an energy that was so profound and so powerful that my world changed. My inner world at that moment changed. I couldn't put words to it because I had no words. I didn't understand what was happening. And so I would say for myself, it was the feelings. God's energy would have awakened something inside of me, which was so profound that as I said, I didn't have the knowledge to support the experience. And yes, I felt I was in another world with that. So then I started to study this meditation. And again, the experience on the journey makes everything become easy. Everything was very easy for me on this journey. Very, very easy. I was vegetarian before. Waking up early hours of the morning, which I said was not my time to wake up, became easy like a click of the finger. Would be up very easily. It's as though I felt someone was waking me up in the mornings. Listening to what we call is our elevated versions was something that I don't want to miss. And so when I look back in those days, it was an energy that was actually carrying me through. If I had to think that this is what I'm going to do, I don't think I could have done it. Or I would have done it. I would say, no, let me take my time and do what I want to do. But nothing was like taking time. It was just an energy. It was just an experience. It's like people say they fall in love at first sight. Ever heard that? Fall in love at first sight? So you fall in love at first sight, and then you remember that for the rest of your life, and you lived your life through that. Now, here is God. It was something of that sort. And so that experience carried me through, that there were challenges, one challenge after another. So many, many challenges I've watched and I've seen and experienced. The one without hands, the one without eyes, the one without a mouth, how that energy has supported and cared for me. How that energy held me and made the things which are so challenging to become so easy. Very, very easy. Whether it was, I was just a young girl of 20. By the time I was 21, my mom left body. she passed away. And so I had to deal with that. And of course, it was before and then up to the date. And here I am comforting the whole family, helping everyone in the family. How can a young girl of that age really helping a whole big family, comforting them and trying to create an experience of peace and love and silence and remembrance of God? Could I have done that just 4 months prior? No, I would not have been able to do that. And so then there were so many circumstances and situations, whether I had to deal with my own body's crisis. Body's crisis was also a very big one. It was as though like death was standing in front of me. Was I afraid? No. I could have welcomed death even at that moment. It was very easy. There was no thought and thinking too much as, what and if and but and all those things that one would go through and the confusion in one's mind. And I watched those scenes, but it was all along, because then I started to learn who is God, right? I know who is God. I understand God, connecting, experiencing a relationship with God. Now, if we look at each one of us in this room, take, for example, Jane and her husband is sitting there. Now, they both have so much love for each other. Is it the body that has love for each other? Is it the body that has love for each other? Is it that the body that is feeling that love? Yes, emotions will go from the soul and the body experience, but who really feels that love? It's an energy in two bodies, and that energy exchanges. The energy of one meets the energy of the other. And when that energy meets, you feel and you say, this is what love means to us. Now here is God. The energy of God and I as a soul, these two energies meet. And then there is that experience that is beyond that which is physical. It is not a physical emotion anymore, but it is something that is beyond that which is physical. It is something that is it's an energy that is very supportive, caring, nurturing. It's an energy that is sustaining. It's an energy that you see the things happening around you and you can shift your thoughts, your feelings away from that and connect to that source. And that source is not just, I just call him God. Because even to think of God, God seems to, far away, distant. He still feels as though there is no relationship. But how do I bring that one into a relationship with me? So that this relationship now supports, sustains, nurtures, and cares for me, regardless what's happening around. Today it's very interesting in this world. There's so much difficulties around. So many problems hitting at everyone's door in one way or another. Whether it's their bodies, whether it's their mind, whether it's relationships, children, grandchildren, all around. Look at Mother Nature, the one we love so much. Next thing you know, it's like a fire burning. It's so hot. Complaints. So if we look around us, and listening to the stories of people today, it is a world of suffering and sorrow. It's a world of pain. It's a world that people actually today don't know where to go and who to go to. Who is going to help them? Who is going to relieve them? Who is going to guide them through the circumstances and the situations of life? They don't know, literally, they don't know where to go now. Because if I go to someone, that person is also experiencing close to my problems, or they have a bigger problem. Their problem might be bigger than mine. And so what do we exchange today? What do people exchange today? They exchange the problems. Like someone said to me today, you know, my friend calls me and there is so much sorrow and pain that I don't even want to answer the phone. I don't want to take calls from anyone now, because the phone calls that comes in is of sorrow. And so if I'm going to listen to sorrow all the time, what am I filling my world with? What am I filling my soul with? And so who will listen to us? Who will listen to our call? Who will listen to that voice inside where there is pain? Nobody's going to pick my phone up now. They don't want to hear my story anymore. And so if they don't want to hear my story, who am I going to turn to? Who is going to listen to my story? And why is it that just not so long ago, we were friends and you were able to listen to all my stories, and then suddenly you can't listen to my stories anymore? Why is that? And that's where human beings are becoming depleted of that power inside. They're becoming depleted of love. They're becoming depleted of compassion, of care, of mercy, of all the qualities that supports love. And so who will listen to us today? Who will listen to anyone? And it will only be God. God will be the only one who will listen to the things of our heart, the stories of our heart, the experiences of our heart. And so I tell everyone these days, love God as you never loved him before. Love him as you have never loved before. Now, how do you do that? How did I do that? And how am I doing that? I'm still learning to love him, of course. But I 100% have faith in his love. And loving him is like knowing him. You know the one you love. Jane knows her husband knows her. I'm just giving that as an example. And this is why they have stayed for all these years together, because there is an understanding that happens. Take time to understand. And so when it comes to a relationship with God, we also have to do the same. He might be the ocean and he flows like an ocean with love. But if I stay locked up in my own world, can I experience the ocean? The ocean is right out there. How many of us have gone to the beach for the season yet? How often do we go? I went once since the summer began up till now. Only once. And the ocean is there. And I could say, oh, wow, the ocean is so beautiful. But where am I sitting and what am I talking about? And those who live by the ocean and go to the ocean every day and swim in the ocean and dive in the ocean and feel from the ocean, what would their experience be like? And here I only went once. And so each one do experience God in your own way. But when you come close to the ocean, when you come close to the one who flows with love constantly, and I stay in that company and companionship with that ocean, the soul will never become deprived of love. I will never have to think that, I don't have love in my life. I need someone to love me. Or I will complain about love, oh, nobody loves me. This is something also that goes on, right? Nobody loves me. So God's love for me is many things. It's a very transformative love. I might make a mistake today where something might have disturbed me for whatever reason. Do I get stuck there and stay there? No. That's the magic of love. The magic of love moves you. The magic of love makes whatever happens insignificant. It's not big, it's okay. So you don't expand the things when there is love. When there is love, you make that which is big becomes very small. It's as though stone melts with love. And so what kind of a love do we have presently in our lives? Each one of you experience God's love in your life? What does that love look like and feel like? And how do you live through life with that love? It is something not to only intellectualize. It is actually the story of the heart. It is the story of what's happening inside of me, inside of my world. Where do I spend the most time? Where do I want to spend most of my time? Whoever I spend my time with, that will be the experience of my life. And so we know also today, once somebody loves you, then tomorrow you don't know, right? You're not too sure. So I spend my time up and down with this love, which is the love that changes. I have seen also that even in whatever we have to do, in terms of what we say here, in terms of the service we have to do, it is only God's love that makes us do the things we do. It's only God's love. Because it's a love that will make you want to do it. Why do I want to do it? I want to do it because I love him and he loves his creation. He loves his creation. He loves his children. And so if God loves his children, What's my responsibility in that? Is to love what God loves. And this is what actually is very interesting, even in human relationships. Okay, your husband may like volleyball and you don't like volleyball, but what do? You support volleyball, right? Or you support tennis, or you support this, so that relationships stay together. But if you don't, then what happens? That's where the divorce, as Luis was talking about, will happen. Because you can't support each other with what's happening. And so there is conflict in those relationships. Now, we can also have conflict with God if we want to. And this is why also many divorce God, many forget God, many leave God, many stop believing in God. Because sometimes we think it's God's responsibility to take care of me when something is not right, going right. Something is not going right in my life. He should be taking care of the things. I don't think I have to do anything. I think it's God. God is responsible. He should have done that. Why did he do that? He should not have done like that. Are we familiar with those lines? He took my mother away. He shouldn't take my mother away. Why did he do such a thing? He took my father away. And you could go on with your relationships of all the people whom you love and saying God took them all away from you. No, he didn't do such a thing. He didn't do all those things. And so it's because we used to see him, or people see him in that way, they move away from the flow of the ocean of love and move to a place of resentment and move to a place of their own suffering and their own sorrow and their own pain. And so this is why we have to see that in our lives, we do not do such a thing. And this is why I love this meditation that we teach here. I'm not saying I love it because I'm here and I belong to the organization, belong to God and what he's creating. But I love it because of the experience it gives to the soul. I love it because how many things become easy. I love it because I can see things more clear than I was able to see it even yesterday. I love it because I can meet all of you in this beautiful space. I love it for many reasons. At every step, I love what is being offered, which sustains and which nurtures and which makes us grow and helps us to face the many things. So what I was describing of people facing and can't face, it has become so much more easier for us. And as it becomes easier for us, our own experience will become the experience to lift others out of their sorrow. And so you experiment with God's love in such a way, you will find yourself, you will talk to someone who is in pain, and you will actually be lifting them out of their pain. They will forget their pain. Like someone said to me today, whatever you tell me, and I find myself doing it, it is easy. And I can do it, and things change. And this is family life. Family life. Not getting along, how you help to offer your support, how things change. Now, all of that is love. Now, whose love? It's what I would say I have received from God as love. And then meeting souls with their own suffering and sorrow and their pains, or they can't see, they don't have a sense of direction in life. You become guides. And then you see how many things change. So I will say to everyone, love God with a passion. Just know that you are the light, the beautiful light. This is not new for all of you who are listening. You are the beautiful light. You are the light of love. And in the light of love, there is also, the soul is carrying that experience of a relationship with God. Think of God in that form of just like yourself as light. But He's the light that is the ocean of love. He's not bright like this room, but it's a light that is subtle. A light that these eyes cannot see, just like we can't see love. We feel love, we experience love. And so it's taking that love, making that love becomes real in everyday life. We might see many scenes and situations that might not be favorable. What do I do with it? You don't go into that. Step back. Step back. The more I'm able to step back, what remains inside is love. And the more I get into something outside of me, I'm going to be pulled away from love. So I have to see, where is it that I'm choosing? Where do I really want to be? And the practice will be, the more I do that, the more I can get back there very quickly. The less I do it, the situations will take over. So remember that who you want to invite into your lives to stay closer to you. You have all your family, you have all your relationships, stay with them. They're beautiful, they're wonderful. But invite God into your life and let Him be as close, more closer to you than the one you're closest to. Let that being be so close to you that everything in life should become easier and easier and more natural. Yes? We all want to love God more. Yes? Do you think it's difficult to love God? Is it difficult to love God? No. You think it's difficult for God to love us? Is it difficult for God to love us? We never thought about that, right? Is it difficult for God to love me? No. We pull the curtains. So we have to open the curtains of our heart. and let the love flows. Don't get stuck with the scenes and the sceneries of life. See them as passing scenes. Because remember, it happened 5 minutes ago, right? It happened half hour ago. It happened an hour ago. And I have, the clock has ticked and you're a few hours later. Where am I? Am I stuck in time, or have I moved forward? And that's what God's love does. It doesn't make you stuck in time. And it doesn't make you hold to those feelings. It's gone. And you move forward. Let's have a few minutes of, I will call it, the sweet and loving remembrance of God. So let's sit comfortably. And I will use this word Baba. Baba meaning my beloved Father. Baba is the one who is the ocean of love. As I remember and connect with this being that is the source of love, I am aware of my feelings. I am aware of the one I'm thinking of. The supreme light, the supreme soul. The supreme source of love. And in his love, there is gentleness. There is kindness, sweetness. His love feels magical. That which is impossible becomes possible. It is his love that makes everything easy that I need to be or I need to do. When I forget him, the things that are easy becomes difficult. And when I remember and I stay in the company of the ocean of love, my world becomes unlimited, like the source. There are no walls, but it's an unlimited space where the energy of love flows far and wide beyond. It is like the coolness from the rain on a hot day. I allow myself to experience the nurturing care of God's love. It is a feeling any form of expectations or dependencies they drift away. And the heart flows with purest feelings and good wishes. Because I, as a soul, I experience the comfort of God's love. God's love is not of the intellect. I can't think of God's love. But it is the ocean and the river that meets. And flows. It is the meeting of the hearts. The heart of the soul I take away with me this power to love myself as God loves me, and give the return to God for the love that He has for me, and share this love with the creation of God, my brothers and sisters, the family of God. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Now over to Louise.
Om Shanti. So what Sister Anjani has is a bit contagious, would you say? This love. But I watch her almost daily, live it, and for decades, walk it. And I just thought this evening was just so beautiful. So here we are thinking, but it's Sister Anjani, and she has devoted herself, and she's wearing white. But you said the secret words. It's magical when we can bring this into our personal relationships. We're all tied to people. We want to love better. We want to be loved better. So we have expectations and we have all kinds of conditions and attitudes, and we wind up being part of the soup that winds up scalding us. It's too hot. So I would just like to give everyone sitting here a little homework assignment, and then I'd love to hear from you. One little moment where instead of that knee-jerk ego reaction, one little moment where instead hold back and be compassionate. And it doesn't have to be with words. It can simply be in not responding. You know, I'm thinking of how, since I'm a student here, I've turned my relationship with my husband around by not giving him a predicted response. I used to have to be right. I used to have to win an argument. And in sacrificing the anxiety of that, you know, it causes a little anxiety, but all of a sudden I'm creating a new habit. Can I do it 24/7? No. There are challenges we all face, right? So try it a little bit. You know, we may never sit in this white chair, but we can certainly, as you said at the end, love our brothers and sisters the way God loves us. He's our cheering section. So I would love to hear from some of you. I've got a microphone in my hand and we've got 10 minutes. I've just got some short announcements, but the microphone is yours. Anyone like to comment or ask Sister Anjani a question? Anyone? Quiet group tonight. Yeah? Okay, Jane.
Shanti, really beautiful. Thank you so very much. And, there's what you shared from your heart in terms of what God means to you and what God is. I think whatever, you know, we each take away, and I can't, you know, say that for him, and I won't. But this is truly a gift. I thank you so much. And also, we're so used to you mentioned it at the very beginning. What we usually look at are the bodies, and we don't know beyond that. And when we begin to know what's beyond that, that becomes a real gift. And that's what I've been experiencing more and more and more. And even forgetting names. I forgot Jennifer's name. I started calling her Elizabeth. And I see that when you're in that space and you're not in that other space of the body, I see more and more that I'm not connecting on that level. Not saying that I don't, I do, there's no question, I'm not there yet.
But a little closer.
Can you hear now?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, but I just want to say thank you very, very much. And thank you, Louise, and all of you for thank you.
I would like to hear from my brother.
Every once in a while, I'm able to come, and I know that Jane has gone through a huge transition, past number of years. And I always feel God bless, you know, everyone should be happy within themselves. And personally, I was very blessed. I grew up with parents who really gave my brother and I truly unconditional freedom. And it carries on within me. You know, I think everything really results in terms of the character that we develop into from a very early age. Very difficult to change. If you want to change a redwood 150 years into its growth, that's a challenge. If you want to change it after a couple of years, it's very pliable still, and you have a good chance of straightening it out if you want to. I think the key is not having expectations and to allow for everyone to basically be in their own space without having to change anyone, allowing for everyone to have a point of view. And even if one doesn't agree, if I don't agree, it's nice not to get too angry or to feel like a relationship has to be severed. I just recently lost a very dear friend for over 65 years. And we were on total different sides politically. And yet he was fetching all the time. And I for over about a year and a half, I was on that phone. And I was the ear, knowingly not getting that much out of my system, but knowing that he had a need. And I will never regret that. And passed away July 2nd. And I'm happy that we were able to do that together. I think giving is very important. The more you give, the more I give, the more I feel good about the situation, about myself as well. And thank you. You exude a very beautiful spirit, Sister Anjani. You really do, and appreciate your presence.
Thank you, Brother Phil.
Thank you. Anyone else? A few words? No?
Our Zoom
Okay.
family.
Zoom family. Is there anyone up there to?
Look, Jennifer wants to say something.
Oh.
So when you opened up the talk, you were talking right about God and who is God and does God do this? Did God take my mother? Did God do that? And it reminded me of a moment I had in my own life a number of years ago. I was completing a Zen retreat, and I was actually in a very, very high state, in a very profound state of gratitude. And this sort of chant came out of me, which was that everything is done by God. I didn't know where this came from, but I kind of synthesized something tonight with that, having to do with, you know, what it's like to be here on planet Earth, and there's all this suffering. And so when these things happen that, you know, are very painful and horrible and whatever, it's not that, it's just an opportunity to transcend our suffering and to comprehend the suffering of someone else. And I know for me, in my own journey, being a very sensitive person, I get defensive, you know, like, whoa, why are you doing that? Why are you saying that? Leave me alone, you know. And I think, you know, the journey is cultivating that space inside myself, so that when these things do happen, it's no longer a reaction. And it's like, okay, someone's presenting me with their suffering, and how am I going to respond? So.
Thank you.
It's a lot of self-esteem to do that, right? You got to drop the ego and just be for someone else. But it can be done with practice. Anyone else? I know it's getting late. I hope you'll forgive us. Anyone else want to make a quick comment? Okay, I have a few short announcements. Next week, we have Sister Wadi from Miami, right? She's wonderful. Make sure you don't miss. We are not in person next week, but Zoomers and people here, if you need any information or Zoom number, just phone Harmony House. We also have a meditation course starting August 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from 5:15 to 6:15 right here. Enter through the bookshop to our left as you go out. And that will be in person only, and it will be in English. Okay. And we also have meditation for world peace on Sunday, August 20th from 6:30 to 7:30. And lastly, Thursday, August 31st, this will be Zoom only, calling all peace ambassadors. We had a beautiful day in Central Park. Some people were there, peace in the park, and it was so beautiful. We didn't even feel the heat, right? Well, but it was wonderful. So we are self-proclaimed ambassadors for peace. Please join us, and maybe next year in Central Park. Okay, did I forget anything else?
Peace and love goes together.
Absolutely.
So
Just
stay peaceful, stay loving. Yes, and so thank all of you for coming and being here. And see, this is also love, you know, creating a vibration together. It's filling the room. One is what you have come in and received, but also what you're leaving behind. You're also giving, you're also sharing what you have, and that is your love. So love is really something that it flows. It's like water, you know, it finds its way. Love is also like that, you know, it just finds its way in everything we do, in everyone we're with. You want to be that and you want to share that. So let your life be one of full of God's love, that you'll never have to look for love. You'll never have to feel depleted of love, right? You want to say something, Judy?
Perhaps I missed it. I believe there's an additional in-person Thursday
Yes.
session. I did not hear that spoken of.
Raksha Bandhan.
Is that?
It's Thursday, August 24th.
24?
Thank you, Judy. Yes. Thursday, I know the first invitation went out with the day Saturday, but it's not a Saturday, it's a Thursday, 24th of August.
And I
And
just
Raksha
added-
Bandhan is where we tie the bracelet. Many of you would have come over the years and got your bracelet tied, right? A golden thread. We used to tie a red thread or golden thread, whatever it is. Yeah, you remember? Who remembers? You do? Yeah. So you used to come and get your Rakhi tied. So that's going to be on 24th, and Sister Kala will be here for that program. Right.
She's from Peace Village. Maybe you've seen her here.
Right. Okay, so everyone have a lovely, lovely evening. And we meet again in this hall on 24th, but on Zoom next week. You take your piece of sweet. Those who like to eat sweet, you take your sweet at the door. Okay, Om Shanti. Have a
Shanti.
good night.
For coming,
Lots of love.
and we'll see you on Zoom next Thursday for Sister Wadi.
Thank you.